Very good afternoon, everyone. I hope my voice is audible. Can give me a quick yes or no on chat. Thank you. Once again, very good afternoon to everyone. I hope my voice is audible. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, I have just enabled chat option for everyone. Sorry, that was my bad. I should be able to type on chat now. Yeah. Okay, great. Good afternoon, Mr. Surendra. Okay, great. Yeah, good to see the responses. Okay, awesome. Good afternoon, Mr. Sumit, Mr. Smitesh, Ms. Rupali, Ms. Subakanki, Ms. Rashmi, Ms. Pooja. Very good afternoon, everyone. All right, great. Mr. Shyam, Mr. Pankaj, Ms. Medha. Very good afternoon, everyone. I hope my voice is clear, loud and clear. We're just going to start off shortly. We're waiting for more of the audience to join in. Once we have a healthy number, we'll get started. We have more people flowing in. And I see Ms. Prajakta has raised her hand. If there's any questions, let us know. You can put it on the chat. We can take it up at a later stage. No problem. All right. Wonderful. So, anyway, as I'm waiting for a few more, we will be starting off in about 2 to 3 minutes. So, while I wait, I would just like to know, I'm sure all of you know what the topic is for today. Let me see what is it that you are looking forward to hearing from our HR expert, the speaker today. Please put it down on the chat. We will see what the expectations are from the session today. Thank you. So I believe we have a healthy number of HR, HR designations over here today. I'm sure we have some from the IT and the managerial end as well. Audience, any expectations? I'd like to see some inputs from the chat. Anything that you think that you are expecting today, that you are expecting that we will be hearing this from the HR today. Okay, organizational behavior in today's corporate, Ms. Pooja says. Okay, great. Good to see one. Audience, anyone else? Okay, leadership management. I think yes, it will be covered today. All right, good. Okay, so we will be starting off in 2 minutes, exact 2 minutes. Let me see a few more inputs on the chat. Okay, Ms. Shantini says strategic planning. Okay, again, it will be covered today. Yeah. Okay, CSR activities and industrial relations. Great to see some inputs. Ms. Hina says how to do strategic planning for organization. Okay, Prajakta with the succession planning. Okay, HR strategies. Okay, IPA. All right, Mr. Shyam, with his input, behavioral factors management while adopting new technology advancements by traditional employees. Okay, individual contributor to managers, the mindset shift on that hierarchy part, Mr. Rupali says. Okay, Ms. Anaga would like to have insight on organization transformation and merger and acquisition businesses, processes. Sorry. Okay, thank you so much, audience. Thank you so much for the inputs. I'm glad that we already have some healthy interaction even before the webinar has begun. I'd like this to carry forward during the webinar as well. Thank you all. Thank you so much. How to connect with remote employees. Okay, all right. I see that as a common concern in most of the HR webinars that I conduct. We'll see how we can attend to that today as well. All right. Thank you all. Very good afternoon to everyone. We're getting started off. Thank you all for your patience. I'm sure you are aware of what the topic is for today, as you must have received mailers from our end. We also have a speaker who is currently at the backdrop. She will be joining us shortly. So I will be your moderator for the day. I am Siddharth Nandakumar and I handle product marketing and web solutions. And I am going to run you through a quick company presentation, which might not take a lot of time. I will finish it in a jiffy, about 5 minutes, followed by which I will introduce our speaker and hand it over. Okay, so web solutions, we were in fact a Wipro company. We were part of Wipro itself back in 1988 until 2000. We were the peripherals division manufacturing of the company. So what that essentially means is we were into dot matrix printer manufacturing. We were also taking care of toners, cartridges, all peripherals related to a printer is something that we took care of. And in 2000, the company decided to become a separate entity. That is, they came out of Wipro. And ever since then, the company has scaled in their managed print services lineup. And today we have different solution offerings on the digital side as well. Let me move forward to the next slide. Audience, I hope you're able to see my slide. A quick confirmation on that so that I can proceed. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so these are some pointers on the company end. We are present in over 2000 plus locations across India. We are also known as India's #1 MPS company. We were in fact awarded the DMS Company of the Year award by CIO Tech Outlook Review last year. And we cater to over 500 plus customers across the country. So without any further ado, I'd like to talk about the solutions that we have on offer. I'd like all of you to know a little bit on this end. So what is managed print services? We have digital transformation solutions. Under that, we have two different offerings. And then we also have presence on the retail end. So let me go to the next slide and explain what this is. So as I explained, we are known as India's #1 MPS company for a reason. We have our asset management solution, wherein we provide asset management for enterprises. What that means is if you have about 30-40 printers in your company and you have different locations and each location has various number of printers, we will be able to handle all the printers for you, and we will also be able to handle new printers. We can add new printers to your existing lineup, and we will take care of all your peripherals, toners, cartridges. And you might ask me, how exactly are you going to charge me? That is on a pay per print basis. What that means is based on the number of papers you print on a periodic basis, we will charge you on that aspect. And the complete service and support is taken care by us as well. And as I mentioned, we have presence over 2000 plus locations in India. Secondly, we have the RICO distributor part. What that means is we are actually RICO's authorized distributor in India. RICO, to give you a background, RICO is Asia's largest printer manufacturer. They're from Japan, in fact, and they do not have presence in India. They can only sell their products through authorized distributors like us. So we have about 10, 15 printers on our portfolio, and we undertake complete service and support on that end as well. Let's move forward to the digital transformation solution side. So over here, we have two different solutions. As you can see, we have a GST solution. I'm sure all of you have heard of the term GST. We have an all-in-one solution for your filing, reconciliation, e-way bill, e-invoicing, data preparation. All that is taken care within one platform. We also undertake most ERP integrations, SAP, Oracle, NetSuite, Microsoft Dynamics, so on and so forth. Moving on to serial number 4. Now, this is where this is what I take care of. Now, what we have here is we have as the name suggests, we have a document management solution along with which we have a workflow automation engine with which we are able to provide business process automation for various departments. Today, to give you some relation, what we have here is we have a HR onboarding, candidate onboarding automation solution with which you can also take care of employee records management. As I was explaining, this is something that the audience here can relate to today. So we have a ready-to-go onboarding automation, offboarding, performance management, your employee records management on the cloud. That is something that we take care of with our solution. Now, that is just one use case. We have various other use cases like you see, procure to pay, management of change. You can store legal documents, and you can just use it as a cloud repository in itself. These are some things that we address. Moving forward, a quick view of some of our clients as we're spread across the country. And these are some of our focused DMS clients. To name a few, we have PhonePe, Flipkart, Omega Healthcare, Galaxy Surfactants. They're a chemical manufacturing company in Mumbai. They are all using our HR employee record solution currently. We have MRF in Chennai, who's also our procure to pay process automation company. All right, so I am almost complete. I'm at the end of my introduction part before I hand it over to the speaker. Before that, let me launch a quick poll for all of you. So I would just like to know if the audience here today is exploring any HR automation, HR employee records management solutions currently. I hope you're able to see the poll on the screen. I will leave this poll on for about a minute, following which I will take it down. So based on your inputs, my team will be able to reach out to the ones interested for a free demo of our solution. We will also be able to talk to you at a later stage to understand what are your pain points, and we will be able to address that with a demo. Ms. Ramya Shri, you had mentioned PDF will be shared. Yeah, we will share. We'll try and share the presentation post the webinar. We'll also be sharing the recording link. So yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the inputs on the poll. I'm ending the poll right now. Thanks all. So let me move forward. All right. Without any further ado, let me introduce the speaker for the day. Welcoming Miss Naveena Joy. She brings in over 14 years of experience in the field of human resource management. Ms. Naveena Joy is a result-oriented, dynamic, and a very versatile professional, demonstrating strong communication and interpersonal skills with the ability to interact with various levels of management, various hierarchies. She brings in over 14 years of experience extending to strategic HR, organizational culture building, policy making and planning as some of her pillars of strength. She has expertise on these areas. Having held roles as HR manager in the past in various industry verticals, and at present, the AGM HR at Superon Stanback Prime Group, Her experience adds immense value to those aspiring to make a difference in the HR field. I take great pleasure in introducing her for today's webinar. This is, in fact, our first webinar with her. And I'm sure the audience is looking forward to directly hearing from you, ma'am. I will hand it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. Welcome, everybody. Probably a good afternoon and a good evening to all. Thank you so much for all the good afternoons that are coming up. I actually entered and saw a lot of questions regarding HR and organizational behavior, and a lot of things regarding planning, HR systems. But one thing I'm very happy about is in today's time, like somebody had quoted what is the organizational behavior in today's time. So this is the, change that I have seen. Earlier, human resource or the organizational behavior or the culture was not taken as much importance like it is right now. So I can see a lot of change that is there, and companies and organizations are taking a lot of input in making a successful culture or a career in one of the fields. So that's how I am here. And yeah, Siddharth, can you just go to the next slide? Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I am talking about these, background and everything, when Siddharth was also talking, so I was just thinking that how to put forward in terms of my background. So let me just tell you one thing, that whatever I'm going to talk in this presentation or whatever I'm going to give you all the inputs. So I am just thinking about one thing, and just make sure on one thing, that everything, whatever I'm going to talk, is only related to what my experience has been in this field. And if I talk about my experience, I started my career with NTPC. So NTPC is one of the India's most successful powerhouse, and I have been giving trainings to the management trainees over there, and it was a very big cultural change over there. Secondly, I shifted from an government house to a private limited, and over there the entire transition was from being a proprietor to a private limited company, and this was again an organizational behavior. So the shift was from around 20 to 25 employees, which actually changed to almost a 200 to 250 employees. That was the transition phase, and it was again an organizational change that happened. Now, the third change or the third experience that I had was I was working with a healthcare firm. And when I was working with a healthcare firm, I was working with all the medical representatives. I was working with all the doctors, all the, medical healthcare, like nurses, everything, everybody, hospitality, all the kinds of, hospital management, administratives. So anything related to healthcare. So that kind of an experience was also there. Third, and next point was that I was and this was the most important and the increased phase of my life, that was the leadership management. And I was working as a leader to manage all the leaders, and this was completely from a different background, which coming from IT background, coming from FMCG, and plus the healthcare, plus manufacturing industry, and plus project based industry. So there was a lot of changes that was there in the leadership management. Fourth and the last thing that I am currently into. So I am in a company, in a manufacturing company, which is manufacturing into a lot of things, into strategic planning and the leadership management point. So when I'm talking in and when I'm taking ahead of a lot of positions, see, understand one thing, with the 14 years of experience, I have realized and I have experienced on one thing, is that the entire process of organizational behavior or the entire process of leadership is nothing but some a human behavior. And as you might have realized and experienced, that human behavior and human feelings go side by side. There is no policy, there is no strategy, there is no planning where we can give a full stop to it and just say that this is the policy or this is the background or this is the strategic planning, and an organization has to move accordingly. It has to be managed, it has to be planned, and it has to be taken forward as it comes. But at the same time, what is in our control is us being a leader, us being our, a leadership manager or an organizational person or an employee. How can we manage ourselves? So going forward, when I'm talking about a lot of leadership management and an organizational culture, keep one thing in mind. It's all experiences, it's all the feelings, and you might have experienced somewhere or the other such kind of an emotion or a feeling. So there is no as such as policy, but yes, there is a feeling management and an emotional management towards it, right? So going forward, when I'm talking about an organizational culture. Now, what is an organizational culture? We all are working in an organization or in a company where there is a set culture, there is a set vision, there is a set mission statement, there are set policies towards it. But we as an employee or we as a leader to any of the organization, how are we making it so important? The organizational culture, actually, when you look at somebody, when you look at an employee, when you look at a leader management, it is actually visible through that. So when we look at a person, we actually, the person is representing the company. When somebody looks at us, we are representing the company and the values of the company. So whatever we think, whatever we react, whatever we are going to say, it is nothing but the company value. So we need to make sure what we are actually talking is the organizational values to it. Now, for example, I have quoted over here the sales team and the vendors or the probably a client. You might have experienced or probably have seen that when we see a salesperson go ahead and talk to any of the vendor or client, they're talking all positive things about the company. They're talking a lot of things about that. Yes, we can do certain things as per your condition, as per your policies, as per your thing. But at the same time, the salesperson is adamant on one thing. Okay, and that one thing is that okay, fine, I have certain policy, you have certain policy, let's come up to a midway. Let's come up to a midway so that we both are in on the same page. And when we are on the same page, then the deal happens. And this is exactly how the organizational culture works, along with the employees or along with all the leaders of the management team. So when we say there are set policies, there are set values, there are set strategic understandings, it is nothing but the thought and the mindset of a leader and how it is embodied in an employee and how an employee is embodying towards others. That's the organizational culture. And somewhere I had seen a question coming up that, is the organizational behavior or a culture for a manufacturing unit, or is it for only for an IT unit, or is it only for an MNC? See, there are different structures of an organization, and I'll explain you what all organizational structures are. But when we talk about these organization structures, every company in the whole world or probably in India is following such kind of a structure. And if any company is following such kind of a structure, it will have an organization culture. So it is not that organizational culture or values is not imbibed throughout when we say that it is for such and such company or such and such instructions or such and such industry. It is nothing like that. But when we are running an organization, it has to have a culture, and that's how we are growing. And if you see the kind of from the top to bottom, companies like a Reliance, companies like Tata, companies like Infosys, they all talk about the culture rather than talking about anything else. And that's how, because of the culture only, it is like growing. Okay. So the first one that I will be talking about in terms of the structure of an organization is the functional reporting. Okay. Now, when we move to the next slide and I talk about the functional reporting, it is basically the functional reporting structure has a very common, which is actually visible, and 100% it is visible in all kinds of organization. It is plain and simple that there will be one CEO or the leader who will be having a very departmental functionals, wherein there will be HRs, accounts, marketing, and there will be their respective team members. So it is a very common part of a team, which is in India. So this is followed by mostly all kinds of the companies. What is an advantage over there? So when we have a hierarchical or a word kind of a vertical kind of a hierarchical system, it is very easy to increase the productivity, because there is only one person to report, that person is reporting to another, that person is reporting to the another. So they're very clear and transparent. Okay, but at the same time, what is the disadvantage being in productivity is there are lot of decision makings that are happening, because there are a lot of hierarchy systems over here. So again, there's a leadership management issue over there. Okay, next slide. So again, this is the second one, which is the divisional reporting structure. Now, like for example, I'll quote with this. I was working with one of the FMCG sector. And what happened over here was that this sector was only into health and hygiene. And it was a very functional reporting structure it was following. But it soon got into a divisional reporting structure. How? Because it was only selling health and hygiene. Then it got into a personal care product line. Then it got into the food industry. Then it also got into the healthcare industry. Now, what happened was with the every product line, they had all the departments. Like for the health and hygiene, they had HR, marketing, accounts. And then for the food industry, they had HR, marketing, and accounts. So this segment was there. No, overall, if I see, like, if visibility of it, yes, it looks good that every department or every divisional sector has their own setup of things, and it has a lot of good transparency, that everybody is working on their own part and everybody is having their own kind of work environment. But the only problem over here is at the top. Okay, because at the top management, they cannot have a different goals, and they have different goals. For the FMCG it is different, for marketing it is different, for probably an HR is different, for every department it will be different. So it will be difficult for the top management to how to manage such kind of a issue. Next slide. This is the matrix reporting, and this is mostly we see it in basically in an IT industry, or probably an advertising or a media industry. And this is probably in a Western culture also. And still now, I really don't understand that, why this matrix reporting is there, though it is very successful in terms of their own in the international world. But in India, we might say that it is very difficult to manage certain things. Why? It is actually a mixture of what we call it is as a functional, like the first part, the functional part of the where there's a hierarchy, and each hierarchy or each department has their own bosses to report to. But along with this hierarchy, there will be an attached project, because it is a project based kind of a thing. So there will be one project for one project manager, and that employee is reporting to the project manager also, and plus it is reporting to the usual or the everyday management system also. So it is very important that the project manager and the reporting manager to be on the same page. It has to have a same goal. Okay, so in a way, because of it might have there some certain decision making conflicts, there can be certain management conflicts. Now the employee who is like reporting to both of them will have a very big difficulty in performing, and plus actually performing in terms of incentive kind of a profile or a strategy kind of a profile. It will have a kind of a difficult time, right? Next. This is the flat reporting structure. Mostly this kind of a structure is followed by small companies, wherein the CEO, there's only one person in the management, and he has an open door policy, wherein whether it is a worker or it is a manager, he is like reporting to the CEO, and it happens only in a small structure. Now, in a way, if I have to talk about, it is very good in terms of transmission of information, because the CEO takes all the decision, and till going down the line to workers or to the managers, everybody is following one instruction. But at the same time, it is only useful in the small structure. It cannot be useful in a bigger organization. Now, in such kind of a reporting system, like we have spoken about four a reporting systems or a structure or a hierarchy. Okay, now we cannot say currently that this one particular hierarchy or the structure system is the best. We cannot say that, but it all depends on the size of the people and how you are using it and how many employees are there. But if you start with a flat reporting strict system, you eventually move to a divisional system. So you need to have that kind of a management and that kind of a culture and that kind of a structural changes as and when the structural or the hierarchy structure is changing. Okay, next. Now, what do you call it as a leadership culture? Now, first of all, see, first I actually explained you about the organizational culture. Okay. Now, why it is very important. It is actually the value system. It is should be imbibed in us that yes, this is the culture that we need to follow. It is nothing but what we say it in our different houses, that what values you have and what is the imbibedness that you are creating. So this is nothing but organization culture is very, very important if you're working in any of the organization. Now, when we talk about organizational culture, it is nothing but a leadership culture. Why it is leadership culture? Because the culture of an organization is set up by the leaders, only leaders. Now, what their mindset is, what they want as a vision, and what they want the employees to follow is nothing but what the leaders are thinking. So, what when the outsiders actually look at the organization, they should actually say that okay, this person comes from this company because this is the culture that they follow, and this is this he is the leader, so his vision is the best. This is the kind of unity that has to be brought up when we talk about a organization culture that is brought by the leadership culture. But the issues, okay, when we talk about the organizational issues, when we talk about a leadership culture, the most and important and probably the various issues that we are seeing in today's culture is that we have a lot of leaders. Okay, I'm not saying that the company is giving you the position of a leader, but as a role also in any kind of a role, if you are in a team and you are 1 year or 1 month or 1 day senior to any of the employee next to you, you are a leader to that person. And the issue is that every leader or every unit head or every HOD or any employee who is 1 day senior to the other employee will have or create their own culture. Why? They will create their own culture because they come from different backgrounds, because they come from different experiences, because they come from different thoughts, and coming into a different culture, they will have different things. So they will create their own cultures, and they have, and when we actually talk about one sentence, when we say one sentence, the interpretation of that sentence is very different by everybody. So that is how the thoughts and the differences come. So that it is not a problem, it is not an issue, it is just a human being. It's a human thought, it's an everyday thought. So we cannot change it. We just want to make sure that everything is aligned with each other. Okay, now because of certain issues that going around, like in the leadership issue and the leadership management issue, now outsiders like the candidates or the employees or people from coming from the other cities or anybody, okay, they love the organization. They love organization because they have employee benefits, they give good salary, they have employee friendly, this, that, everything is there. Okay, but the problem is because of these small departmental cultural issues, people don't want to join, or people don't want to continue, or people don't even want to say good things about the company or anybody. And because of that small departmental culture, now we need to change that. What is exactly that small departmental culture? One of the most, and what is highly the issue that is happening in India is the glass ceiling phenomena or the attitude. What is this glass ceiling phenomena is that because the other person has a different thought, and especially I'm talking about in one team, I'm not talking about any different team, because one team is there and that one team member talks very differently from any other person. Okay, they have any certain things about what you call it as an organization to prevent employees to get best from the job, or an appraisal system is stopped, or the promotion is stopped, or any incentive is stopped. So they have a kind of a right? Individuality is there, individual practices are there. This is really visible in there. Next. Now, how a leader, or how probably a management can see that employee is, an employee at a very smaller stage cannot say anything to a leader, or cannot, counter that leader. But there are certain behavioral attitude that we can see that, okay, there is some issue with this employee, or with this employee, because of the organizational culture, or because of the value system, and that's why this person is behaving in such a way. Okay, so the first issue is quiet quitting. Okay, now what we talk about quiet quitting work is, there are employees who will only work for 9 to 5 p.m. and their job is done, and their perspective is like, okay, they will only concentrate on one thing, and they will not concentrate on anything, only 9 to 5, and they are left to the job, and they are not bothered about anything else. Okay, again, we also say that just stick to one job, just stick to one, concentrate on your project and nothing else. And you can, but at the same time, there has to be a humanness, or a humble way that is invisible in this employee. Okay, second is the moonlighting. We also hear about this. Moonlighting is working on two jobs at a time. So it is like, I'm not satisfied with one of the in the present company, whatever it is giving, I'm not satisfied at all, so I'm taking up another job, and taking up different projects, different work, and I'm happy working night also, evening also, in any shift, but I want to work in two different companies. And yes, and just to give you this highlight, it is not because of only money. Really, it was not because, and as a study, and because of the lot of differences and everything, we have come to a one point, it is not at all because of the money. At least one part is money, but it is not the maximum. The reason is not because of money. Okay, third point is career cushioning. When employee starts probably into a lot of looking at options other than jobs, like they want to do any business, or they want to get into different kind of small business, or family business, or anything apart from any job, because they think that job is like they have certain issues with the human behavior, or any leadership issue, company issue, a lot of things are there. Boomerang employees. Now this is like we are visible that any employee starts talking about their previous company, and previous company, they start differentiating, and they start talking about that how good the previous company or the previous organizations were, and there are a lot of comparisons are happening. And this, you need to see one thing, that yes, of course, there might be some call that happened with the previous organization, or the employee is actually thinking about going to that previous organization, one of the previous organizations. So we need to address that as well. Okay. Yeah, next. The leadership culture. Okay, now when I'm talking about leadership management, see, a designation will never say that you are a leader. As a person, if even if your designation says that you are an executive, plus even if you consider one day in the system, or one day in the organization, you are considered a person with a leadership quality, because you are following certain things. And in the lots and lots of leadership management, if I talk about, the culture of an organization comes from only the leaders and managers who creates the values in the system. And when I'm talking about the culture system and all, and first and foremost, after the management or the senior management comes the HR role. Okay, and HR department is considered to be the face and voice and the emotion of the company. They are the heart of the company. And if you see, the employees are free to do everything. They will not be seeing, people don't see them as any kind of a value or a culture, but the HRs are seen as the cultural or the representative of the company. So we as a department, we are representing the management or the leader, or we are the company. So we as a person, we need to be more sure that how people are going forward and how employees are facing the world by representing the company. So we are the culture, we are the values, we are the actual leaders of the company. Okay. Now, what do you mean by monkey see and monkey do? Okay, you know how monkeys act. So monkeys act like, if you are in front and if you start behaving in a certain way, the monkeys also start behaving in a certain way. So the cultures and the values come from the top. So when the top says, when the senior management or the leaders, they set up certain values or cultures in the company, okay, and they have certain policy, and we cannot change that because they have certain thoughts and they have a vision that my company or our company should move in certain way. And being an HR leader, okay, we as HR leaders, we need to follow those policies because somewhere or the others, these values and culture has been set up with the collaboration and with the communication with the HR. So we need to follow that, okay. And when we are following that, so all the employees are following and copying our culture. So the monkeys are do whatever they are seeing, they are doing it. So we as a leadership role, being in that executive role or being at the leadership role, we need to follow what the culture is saying. Okay. The first and the foremost basic skill of a leader is the ensuring that listening skills are there. There are a lot of complaints in a team, there is a junior who wants to say a lot of things, who has a lot of ideas, who has a lot of instructions, or who has experiences coming from a better background, better experiences, and he wants to say a lot of things. But what does a leader do? In a way that, he wants to say that I have been in the organization for a longer period, I have hired you, probably, or probably I have more experience and I have worked in larger projects than you. So what happens? The employee doesn't say anything, or the employee has nothing more to say in future also. So the first quality is a basic quality. No matter what the situation is, as a leader, you must be emphasizing on one point, that you need to make sure that the team starts responding and the team starts saying, and you need to have that listening skills, and that listening ear has to be there. You will never, understand that, out of the box, one of the team member will say something that will solve all your problems. That is the best quality. And if you actually start, listening and asking them more, to discuss certain things. Okay. Passion, integrity, and humility. These are the three, the basic integrity things. One is that, passion, work passion. I'm not just talking about only passion, but the work passion, how passionate you are in terms of work, in terms of your values, in terms of the team as well, because the team looks at the leader, and they see that how passionately you are working in your projects, on in your working scenario or any condition. So that's how the passion is imbibed. So we cannot say I'm passionate about work, I'm passionate about work, I work like in the night also, I work in the morning also, I work all every day, I'm so passionate, I'm so passionate. Nothing like that. It is actually seen in your everyday condition, in everyday working. That's how the passion is seen in any condition. Like, if the organization or if the team in a difficult situation, how you can come out of that situation is the best thing. That is the passion, one of the passions that you can show. Integrity. Integrity is how loyal you are towards yourself. Once you are, when you show the loyalty towards yourself, you are automatically loyal to the company or to anybody whom you are working. Okay. Third point is the humility. Humility is, it is in HR terms, if I have to talk about, or if I have to talk about in any terms, in the organizational terms, humility is nothing but how much you are, showing your potential. You are capable of a lot of things. Your capability or your potentiality is about a lot of things. But just because there are certain rules and regulations that are set up by anybody, you are restricted to that. That is not shown as a humility. You need to come out of the box from there. You need to be, while showing loyalty towards you need to be loyalty towards how much potential you have also. That's how you will come up. Okay. Fourth point is employee fitment skills and roles and responsibilities that are coming up. Now, here comes the technology part. Okay, like Siddharth was talking about uh, his organization and what all products he has to give, and what all ERP systems, integrations, and solutions that has to give. Now, technology comes into the picture over here. It saves a lot of time. Saves a lot of time. Wow. So when I say employee fitment skills and roles and responsibility, earlier when we didn't had any kind of technology or the ERP systems or integration or automation or nothing like that, the every human was doing the same thing, and still there were issues, and still there were small ignored issues that were there, which eventually was coming out to be a bigger issue. For example, if we are hiring a person, okay, when we hire a person, there's a whole lot of understanding in terms of that. As a leader, I want a set number of person with a skill, with an attitude, with an experience, with knowledge. These things are there. But when we don't have any kind of a ERP system or automation or anything like that, we are doing all the handwork. We are searching for the resumes. We are searching for who came like 10 years back, and we want to get back to that employee and start come and ask the person to come back. Why to get over that workload again and again? It's better that we have a system where we have that Excel sheets and everything. Automation is there. Just type a name, just type any kind of a condition, and you will come through that. Although what all employees were there earlier, what all attitude were there, what all knowledge was there, what experiences were there, and it becomes a very easy thing, and the productivity also increases. And that's how when we set up any kind of a roles and responsibility, it is actually based on these kind of a condition, and it becomes in a productivity increases. So technology plays a lot of things. And sometimes when there are certain policies that we need to set up for any senior people, and these policies, sometimes the senior people say I will not follow, or there are certain kind of crunches over there. So technology comes into the picture over here, and we say that this is the technology and we need to follow this kind of a technology, and the seniors actually follow. Trust me. I have followed this with the senior doctors and healthcare systems, and that was the best time. Okay. Now, as a leaders and in the HR systems, if I have to talk about, it is very important for any company to start with a lot of training programs. And when I talk about training programs, it is nothing that related to work, or related to what assignments or skills or knowledge. No, nothing like that. There can be certain kind of trainings towards that, but what is more beneficial and what the team will also be encouraged and happy about is when we have certain personality kind of a trainings, personality development, professional well-being, certain etiquettes, skill parts, email etiquettes, or the dress up, how to dress code, any certain light-hearted trainings that we have. Such kind of trainings really help. Why? As an organizational point of view, if I talk about, yes, it will say that, oh, it's an expensive, why is it necessary, and all those things. But as an employee, if I tell you, it is a light-hearted. People, these employee have this very small things that they notice. And when they notice certain things, they also notice that how much the company is helpful to the, or the organization is helpful to the employee. So when these small things are actually catered to, the employees are very happy. And then, being a leader, I'm telling you, these small things only make a bigger things in their mind. A lot of things are, negotiated in that. Okay, next slide.
Yeah. So,
Now this is,
Ms. Naveena, I think you've been talking for quite a while. I will cut you some slack for a while. Let me just quickly launch a poll if that's okay with you.
yeah.
Right? Okay. Audience, I'm just going to launch a quick poll for all of you. Let me know what are your thoughts on this. Okay. So, do you have a clear understanding of the organization's strategic objectives or not? Let me leave this on for the next 1 minute, followed by which we'll see what our speaker thinks on the aspect, on the results, and then we will get back to the presentation. Okay, so I'd like to see maximum engagement on this part, audience. So we have about 18 people who've attended so far. Okay. All right. And I see a few of them who are raising hands. Let me know if there's something I can attend to. Mr. Lakappa has also raised his hand. Just type it on the chat. I'll be able to attend to that in the meantime. Okay, so we have about 23. Can we have two more? Can we have just two more? Okay, 24. Can we have one more input? All right, so most of them say that they do have a fair idea, a clear understanding of the organization's strategic objectives. Okay, great. Let me end the poll. I'll just share the results for all of you. And Ms. Naveena, would you like to comment something on this?
See, that's a very good thing. I'm happy with the audience that the organization strategic objectives are very much clear. But the next question I would understand that how many of the leaders are following these organization structure strategic objectives.
Right.
So that's the whole question, knowing and doing. So
Correct.
I'm happy, first of all, that everybody knows about at least what the company is all about.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Over to you.
So, okay, Shalini says that not much of them are following it. Okay. So, okay. Now, see, we understand that what all organizational culture is, the strategy is, the policy is, the HR is actually making it sure that every employee is understanding and knowing everything. But why there is a difference in priorities or why there is a shift or anything like that? Okay. Now, the why if all these things are coming up, because as an individual or as a leader, we need to be very much sure that how we are representing or how much we are embodying towards everything. So there has to be a mindset shift. Now, what is the mindset shift for everything? That is very clear. Now, the entire presentation that I've been talking and going ahead also that we're talking, it is nothing but the whole pictorial representation. What is the organization transformation? We need to now, or probably, now the system is like not just the number game or the profit game or anything. The wordings has to be that what is the purpose of it. Once the profit changes to a purpose, there are a lot of things that changes. As an individual, they don't work for, when they start working for themselves, it automatically becomes a purpose for the organization automatically. So it becomes automatically a profit for the company. So the wordings has to be from a profit to a purpose. Okay. Second thing is from hierarchies to networks. So the hierarchy system is well and good, but when the hierarchy is actually connected to all departments and all the areas of employees, when they work as a network, it becomes a unity. If they have a conflict within the department and outside the department and within the organization, then the organization is totally in conflict. The hierarchy system is good, when we have a reporting system, but when we are doing work in as a team, there has to be connected with networks. Every person of every department works for the organization, so it is useful, it has to be changed. That is the mindset shift, second mindset shift. Third thing is very important, from controlling to empowering. And that empower word is very, very important. As I had mentioned earlier also, empowering is very, very important. Because as a leader, you cannot ask, it is, you cannot ask somebody to do certain things. But you cannot request also. But the word, if there is a small word, okay, that I have also changed in my mails and written mails, or probably in my words, is that, if you want to ask somebody to work, you cannot say that it is your job to do. But when we just, change that one line from asking or requesting, when we just change it to, why don't you support in doing that, it changes a lot of things. It is nothing but empowering. And your work is also done. You just need to change that one line. Please support in doing this. Please request the support. Those small words. It changes a lot. There is a lot of planning. Okay, like somebody had written that there are business priorities keep changing. Now, when these business priorities keep changing, there's a lot of planning that happens. And trust me, this planning that happens, we go again and again towards the first point only. We do not come to the last point ever. When we start experimenting a lot of things, once we start experimenting the first point, we learn a lot of new things. And when we come to the second point, from the earlier point, when we learned a lot of things, then we don't repeat those mistakes also, and we become better in the other thing. So planning, nothing works. When we start doing, when the business priorities also changes, it automatically, the experiments, because of the experiments and doing things, a lot of actions also change. We are actually growing through that. Okay. And from an organization of privacy, it has to be a transparent. Privacy doesn't work at all. Especially if this, I will tell you about a manufacturing unit. If there is anybody from the audience who is working in a manufacturing unit, mostly the privacy, the private things and strategies and everything, all the policies work over here in manufacturing unit. A lot of privacy is there. That doesn't work. There has to be a transparency in a lot of things. Next. Like I said, these are the three, EUE, empower, uplift, and encourage. Basic, empowering people, uplifting people, and encouraging people. There are a lot of things that will work towards it. Because, when you start implementing these three cultural differences in ourselves, we will see a lot of change in others as well. Next. How can we have this kind of empowering, uplifting, and encouraging? There's a small team building exercise that we do. There's a psycho safety matrix. And it is nothing but, we automatically see by the management style itself. Like from the hierarchy and what the divisional structure that I saw, that, I spoke about, we automatically see the kind of a psychometric safety system. And what is that? First is the autocratic management style. And when the automatic management style, the management is the only level that is making all the decisions. Only, without consulting the team. And it will never grow. This kind of a hierarchy system, when we have only the management taking the whole system, this doesn't grow to it. It just grows to a level, and then just, it becomes stagnant. It comes down, then goes here, then comes down and goes here. It doesn't go from here to here. Because there's only one person who is taking the decision. And, in today's world, when everybody wants to speak and give an opinion about it, and when the company is not making the point, it will automatically have certain kind of failure in the company. Second is the participated, the opposite of it. When the management or the manager or the leader, they have a team building, team effort, team is making that kind of an encouragement to each other. They are empowering each other. They are making everybody participative. they have instructions, they give instructions, they take instructions, they listen also, they are without even telling anybody, the completion of the work is also there. So a lot of changes will happen. The high performing teams is also there. When the psychology system of they're very safe to it, because I know that whatever work I'm doing, the next person in my team, I trust that person a lot and very, very comfortable in speaking to that. So there's nothing negative that we talk about. Comfortable also means that I can gossip to the other person and the person is gossiping with it. That's not the comfortable in nature. Sharing thoughts and comfortable is only the positive nature is there. And that it is visible in any of the teams that is very participative, and they will perform also very well. Productivity very much increases. And lastly is the people who are not performing. They're the worst people. They will have nothing in terms of the performance, plus at the same time they will also create a lot of negativity around us. Right? So as a leader, we need to make sure that what kind of a team we are building. Now, because before we come to the team building, we also come towards who is a leader, how I can become a leader. The basic rule is, if we 1% change ourselves, because it is very important to self-analyze ourselves, what are the qualities and what not qualities do we have. When we start analyzing certain things, we cannot just be happy with what qualities we have, which is very good. But we need to work on what qualities we don't have. And that's why the rule of 1% is there. When we start, working on ourselves 1% every day, so by the end of the month, we are 37% better. So that 37% is much better than what the best qualities that we've written to ourselves. It is better than these qualities that we wrote, because we are changing. If the business patterns are changing, so we also need to change. And how we can change is to grow ourselves in terms of skills, in terms of knowledge, in terms of management, in terms of mindset, in terms of our thoughts, in terms of everything. One quality each will help us grow. Second and most important is the patience, persistence, and perseverance. All three, marketing has the 4 P's. As a leader, we have 3 P's: patience, persistence, and perseverance. We cannot lose our patience and these 3 P's anytime. Because monkey see, monkey do. People are following us, people are looking at us. We need to actually build people. We can only build people by believing in ourselves, or by actually having patience in ourselves. When we start working on ourselves, we automatically are building and making others also change. Another thing is, we cannot complain, blame, and be immoral to our team. Again, we are creating a lot of negative environment. Because there obviously it is life and it is a business, there will be a lot of ups and downs. And because of only downs, and we just talk about only the downs of the environment and the situations, that will come up to a negative mindset. And knowingly or unknowingly, because there is negativity in our thoughts and minds, it comes to our words and actions. And when it comes to our words and action, everything collapses. And when everything collapses, again, we go back to all the situations that a leader is identified because of our actions and because of the team. There are different, situations that come up when being a leader or being a manager, we really do not have any answers, or probably we do not have any authority. But we cannot show that to any of our team members. Why? Because the team will then start thinking that, okay, my manager has nothing to say about, or the manager doesn't have authority. Let me go ahead and talk to another manager or another leader. So it is better to actually change your words. I will definitely come back on this. It's a very simple line. but people don't talk about it. I will check with the authority or management. Again, it is very simple. Instead of saying no, instead of saying ki, I don't know, it is better to use these two words. And it is very important, rather than telling people to improve knowledge and skill, it is very important to increase our own skills and knowledge. Next. Leadership courage, leadership has two qualities. One is courage and humanness. And these two has to go hand in hand. This is a very small graph, and whatever I spoken about sums up in this graph. When we talk about the small, the low courage and high humanness, there are a lot of people in our organization who are people pleasers. They will say yes to everything. They have a smiling face, yes to everything. They will do all the work also, and they will have no conflict with anybody. They will not even have any question, nothing at all. Their, courage is very low. They are in fear always. But and the humanness that they show is also very fake. That kind of an also, team doesn't work, or people don't work. Then we have low courage and low humanness. These are the total negative people. They have nothing to do about. Third is the high courage and low humanness. They will be the aggressive people. They will have a stand to everything, but they will have no emotions towards others. That is also very important. And that is why the fourth point is the high courage and humanness. There has to be a balance between courage and humanness. There has to be a balance between the strength and the emotions towards people. Then only things will work. Next. Next. We have spoken this a lot about. Be a leader, not a boss. Again, if you stand up and take a stick and work towards with the stick, it doesn't have, everything goes very in negative. The organizational culture also goes negative, values also goes negative, because you are representing the company, everything goes negative. We need to focus on a lot of people. We need to focus on, leaders who are trusting, who are trusting each other, who are empowering. And because of that, the leader earns his own respect. Within the team itself, there is a lot of opportunity that a leader can get into. There is no policy that has to be brought in. And automatically the leader shares all the credibility and the positiveness with the team. It is all about the creating that positive environment rather than creating a negative environment. Next.
So, ma'am, before we move to the next slide, let me just launch one more poll for the team here. Audience, I hope you're able to see this. Does your team inspire you to do your best? Is it a yes or a no? We'll leave this on for the next 1 minute, followed by which we'll continue. Audience, I'd also like to mention that as we close in towards the end of the session, we will be taking up queries as well. So if you have any queries, please put it on the chat or the Q&A. I already saw a few of them. I will be taking that up with the speaker. She'll be answering them, in fact, for you. So please, we're almost done with this presentation. So we look forward to attending to the queries. Okay, another 20 seconds before I end the poll. All right, so, well, most of them think that, yes, the team does inspire them to do their best. Okay, Naveena, any comments on this?
I think my presentation is getting successful then.
Right. All right, great. Okay, let me stop sharing. And we have one more poll for the audience, but I'll bring that up at a later stage. So shall I move forward, Ms. Naveena?
Yeah.
Okay, so another pictorial representation. I will just, yeah.
Again, this is a mindset shift. We can skip this because we've been talking about this.
Okay.
Okay, this is very important, and probably I would like to end with this also. While we are giving a feedback, it has to be a very strategic and very positive way. Okay, there are very different ways of giving feedback. Rather than being very direct in giving that feedback, it has to be a very, in a very strategic way, so that the team actually starts trusting the leader. First and foremost is a small appreciations. Okay, when we are actually in a team, we always, since beginning or since childhood, we have been told about, or probably we have observed or experienced also, that when we get certain small appreciations, our confidence is actually does boost up, and we have a small courage that comes up. It is nothing but one small appreciation is required, and whenever these small appreciations are happening, it has to be within the team. It has to be within the team, because when it is actually told in front of another person or third person, it is actually creating a positive environment, that the second and the third person also believes that if I do good and if I have certain values, I will be also appreciated. This is the first point. Second, along with that, is the unexpected appreciation. If certain people do a good presentation or a good Excel work or something good, small things is happening, just appreciate, start unexpected. It also boosts up a courage. Third is a sandwich approach, which is very good. You know how the sandwich is? We have two breads and in between there is a slice of certain good content with it. So a sandwich approach is nothing, but when you are talking one-on-one, you start, talking good things first. You start talking good about a person, and then if you want to give a feedback, or probably wants to change something, then add on in between, and then start saying good things. It will be highly appreciable. Fourth is an M2M approach, which is a man-to-man approach. Just have a one-on-one conversation every time. It can be formal also and informal also, and informal ones is appreciated all the time. Next is the team recognition. Okay, and when there is a team recognition, when you are a leader towards a lot of team, then there can be a team recognition. Okay, this team worked really well, or this person worked in that project really well, so that can be appreciated. Switch captain, and when I say switch captain, like when you are working towards a certain goal, and when you are working towards a different everyday projects, you can actually have certain 1 month policy or a 2 month policy or a 2 month project kind of a thing, and you can in a personal way start analyzing an individual by giving certain employee the captaincy or a major leadership role, how to go about with the project. You will see different leaders coming up. You will see these leaders actually growing towards working in a different way, and they actually start thinking in a positive way and a productive way. It is tried and tested. It works very well, and automatically with their actions we get to know that who is product in a productive team member and who is not. So this can be a good feedback sessions that we can actually give away. Next. So this is nothing but this is the end of the presentation by saying that a leader is at his best when his team says we did it, and after the work is done. When we say we did it, it makes a lot of difference. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, please, you can put up.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Ms. Naveena. I think that was a highly insightful presentation. I'm sure the audience had a lot of takeaways. So we will get into the Q&A session. I think we can extend it by about 10 minutes and then wrap up for today. But before I do that, I would just like the audience to quickly hop onto the chat. I'm going to add a link over here, which will lead you to another poll. Now, this is actually on our LinkedIn official handle, the company handle. I have a HR candidate onboarding related query, which is actually an engaging poll for all of you. I'd request all of you to just take 1 moment, 1 minute to quickly head over to this link. It'll redirect to your browser and then come back over here. We will take up the Q&A part with the speaker. Also, requesting all of you to try and follow our page as well. We do have a lot of digital transformation and HR related content that we usually put up over the week. All right, so I do see some queries that have come up on the chat and one on the Q&A as well. We will take that up, and I'd also like to mention those of them who are looking to directly interact with Ms. Naveena. I'll be able to do that as well. You will have to either give me a yes or a no, or just raise your hand. I'll be able to unmute and get you to talk to her. Okay. Also, I hope some of you are able to head to the link and check out that poll on our page. Thank you. All right. So I think we can take up the queries, ma'am. So there's one from Smitish. She's asked, need to know about IPA implementation, succession planning, and performance retainment.
See, as I told you in the beginning itself, there are a lot of technologies that have come up, and I am actually a person that I can go hand in hand with all the technologies in terms of implementation or any kind of ERP systems, and it actually saves a lot of time. Trust me, because as an HR person, it is more of dealing with humans rather than dealing with a lot of facts and figures. And when it is about the facts and figures, let the technology take care of it. Okay. And the second point is the succession planning and the performance retainment part. Again, there are certain rules and regulations, policies, and you need to identify and you need to work on what has been the culture in the previously, or what is the present. You need to analyze a lot of how things have been working, and then come up with a lot of plannings and procedure. Again, there is no said policy towards it. It all depends on what analysis you have to bring in. So it all depends on that.
Okay, I hope that answers the question. There are some on the chat. I'll just read that out for you.
Yeah.
Okay, scrolling up. Okay, so there's a repeat question from Ms. Ramya. Actually, it's a little generic, I think. Due to chat GPT and AI, HR jobs will get automated in future is something that she's expressed. So if you'd like to answer on that part, then yeah.
How much autonomy does an HR professional have in an organization if the management creates a toxic culture by being concerned only about the bottom line?
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
It's another one?
This is actually another question. Before that is, yeah.
Before this question, okay.
Yeah, you'll have to scroll up just a little bit from this Ramya Sri.
Can you just speak it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Due to chat GPT and AI, HR jobs is getting automated in the future. Not only HR jobs, many others are being replaced. I think she just wants, if you can add something to that, yeah.
Yeah. So Ramya Shri, right? Ramya Shri,
Yes.
I understand that because of AI and automated and everything, there's a lot of things that are getting replaced. But frankly speaking, there are a lot of companies today in today's world who are actually getting this traditional kind of a work, and the all those written work, handmade work. They are actually saying no to it. But it's actually an advantage to us. It is not replacing any job. Trust me. It is actually not replacing any job. It is actually giving an opportunity to every employee to learn new technologies. Because at the end of the day, in the future, everything is going to be digitalization or the technology specific. So you need to qualify into certain things. So rather than thinking that your job or any kind of a job is getting replaced through any technology or automation, think like that you need to learn another skill to run this. Because to run any kind of an AI or automated work also, they need humans. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think this you can take up now, the one that you were reading from Mr. Sumit. How much autonomy does an HR professional have in an organization if the management creates a toxic culture by being concerned only about the bottom line?
Oh, HR has a lot of authority, but you need to take up that authority. Trust me. I'll give you an example because I have worked in a lot of change in organization and the what do you call it, as a mergers and acquisitions, and a lot of things are there. And I've also worked with a one man show army type of a management system also, that my policy is the my policy. But the HR has to be very firm in the facts and figures. The HR cannot just think about only think about the employees. Understand one thing: when you are actually talking to an management leader, you need to talk about the organizational point of view. So one, management actually thinks, and they down the line they know one thing, that without the humans and without workers, without staff, my company will not run. So when there is one representative or one person who is actually standing for the people, and they are talking to the management, that if you actually do certain things in a certain way, you are also in a positive sense, and the employees also in a positive sense, they will listen to you. So an HR person has a lot of authority. It's how you take it and how you bring it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Another question from Miss Pooja: how to handle great resignations with leadership qualities and therefore cancellation of offer at the last moment? So you will have a few generic questions as well.
Yeah. So, how to handle great resignations with leadership qualities and therefore cancellation. You need to understand the reason for these resignation. The reason you need to, you always have to understand one thing as an HR person. There has to be a backward calculation and backward understanding. There's a book known as Questions Are the Answers. So when you get a question, it has to be answered in a question way. Why you are resigning? Then there will be an answer. Then why it has happened? Then there will be an answer. Then why it has happened? So when you actually boil down to a lot of questions, the leader himself will, at the end of the day, will actually say there was no reason for the resignation. It was just a small feeling, or it was just a point of conflict that happened. And plus, if there is any kind of salary issue or any recognition issue, that obviously you can handle easily. And therefore cancellation of offer at the last moment, again I do not have any answer for if the other person is not picking up the phone. As an HR, I understand that. But if the person picks up a phone and you have the query to again ask why. Questions are the answer. Always remember that. You will boil down to it and you will actually clarify what is the actual reason. Next.
All right. Okay. We have one more question. Just one moment. Okay. Yeah. A question from Mr. Surendra: how to overcome the challenge of candidates not joining in the last minute?
As I told, it's the same
Yeah.
answer that I have to give.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I will request again, like if there's anyone who'd like to directly interact by unmuting and talking directly to Ms. Naveena, I'll be happy to do that. If there's anyone, please let me know on chat, or you can raise your hand. I'll be able to do that immediately. Okay, audience, anyone? All right, let me just give a minute on that end. I will also see if there are, okay, there's a question from Mr. Rohit Kumar in the meantime. how to change the mindset of employees, especially when we switch between working from home and going to office?
Oh, yes, this is again a good question. Again, see, understand one thing, you need to engage these employees, and it's a very vast subject if I have to talk about. You need to engage these employees. Now, while I'm saying that engaging these employees, you cannot just ask them to only work, 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 work. You need to increase the ownership, and you need to increase the responsibility, and by increasing ownership and responsibility you can actually have certain kind of engagement processes as well. So that's how things can move. And again, there is no set engagement processes towards it. Again, it all depends on your organization how things goes ahead. So it all depends on, ownership and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Okay, can we connect with you, ma'am, on LinkedIn for further learning?
Yes, of
Absolutely.
course. I am on
Yeah, yeah.
LinkedIn. You can go ahead and connect with me.
Yeah, you know what? Let me just share her profile link right away. Give me one moment.
Yeah.
I will do that. And audience, I'll repeat that again. If there's anyone who'd like to directly interact with her right now on the webinar, we have another 2 minutes. We're actually closing in. If there's anyone who'd like to directly ask a question by unmuting, please let me know. I'll be able to facilitate that. Okay, I'm also, yeah, you can find her profile on the chat.
You're welcome, Sumit.
Okay, so no questions looks like. Okay, if that's the case, I think on that note, we can call it a day. Thank you so much, Ms. Naveena, for the time, efforts, and a highly insightful presentation. I'm sure the audience, like I mentioned already, had a lot of takeaways. And thank you, audience, for being a great sport today. I hope the session was informative. We will be sharing the recording and the follow-up call at a later stage this week. And those of them who have shown interest for our platform, the demo will be facilitated soon. And Ms. Naveena, I look forward to seeing you in our upcoming webinars as well. Until then, we shall sign off.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.